People are talking about the end of an era in bodybuilding based on what happened at the Prague Pro this weekend. I'm making this video before the finals of this show, so anything could still happen, but based on what I saw at the pre-judging, the most likely result is Chris Bumstead winning the show. And let's say he doesn't win. It was still closer than anyone expected, and I'm sure anything other than Chris Bumstead winning will upset a lot of people. But anyway, regardless of whether he wins or not, the fact that we are even having this conversation brings up one critical question. Is bodybuilding about to change again? Is this the end of the era of 212 athletes dominating open bodybuilding? In this video, I'm going to put Chris Bumstead between the two best bodybuilders of the last 3 years, up until the 2024 Mr. Olympia and maybe this Prague Pro, namely Hadi Choopan and Derek Lunsford, both of them former 212 athletes with shorter statures. They were first and second in 2022, first and second in 2023, second and third in 2024, and they've been winning the Arnold Classic with Hadi Choopan this year. Furthermore, Nick Walker is another shorter bodybuilder who's been at the top of bodybuilding, finishing third at the last Olympia he did back in 2022, behind the same two guys. Now, Martin Fitzwater, with a similar stature, seems to be making waves, but come 2024 things started to slowly change. First we had Andrew Jacked at the Texas Pro, where everybody said, including the judges, that is an Olympia winning physique. And then Samson Dauda actually won the Mr. Olympia, upsetting Hadi and Derek, who were the big two favorites before the show. And now Chris Bumstead is either winning against the 4th place finisher at the Olympia or controversially losing. For many of you watching this video in the future, you'll already know what's up. It seems like deja vu because back in 2019, Classic Physique was dominated by Brian Ansley, a shorter, more compact, yet more complete bodybuilder in comparison to Chris Bumstead, similar to what all these shorter top athletes today are compared to these taller bodybuilders we're discussing. Once C-Bum defeated Brian, it didn't matter that Brian basically improved every year. He never won the Classic Olympia again, and moreover, he even got lower than second place finishes. Terence Ruffin, another more complete yet smaller bodybuilder, fought to dethrone C-Bum for a couple of years but without any chance. If anything, Classic Physique athletes like Ramon Dino, Urs Kalatinsky and Wesley Vissers, all with more towering physiques similar to C-Bum, more or less started to dominate the division. Could this be the new direction open bodybuilding is heading to? Will guys like Hadi Choopan and Derek Lunsford have the same fate as Brian Ansley or Ruff Diesel? Or am I overreacting here? Let's take a look at Chris Bumstead versus Hadi Choopan and Derek Lunsford and see what we can learn. In the front double biceps, we can notice that pound for pound, Hadi and Derek are both more massive yet aesthetic at the same time, despite their less impressive statures. As Chris Bumstead looks here not truly an open competitor after such a short time, I believe he could take last place in the front double biceps. Both Hadi and Derek are more filled out and both of them keep the aesthetics, hitting a similar vacuum to C-Bum's impressive one. Moreover, even though Hadi and Derek don't have the best arms, that's an area where C-Bum doesn't excel either, so objectively, C-Bum can't hope for more than third. But if the judging criteria were to change and start to award a more imposing stature like C-Bum's, he could take first easily. The front lat spread is a pose where C-Bum already looks impressive as he is and might actually take first place as he is here. His frame is really made for such a pose. We all knew that already. Even the overall difference in mass and fullness is not as obvious here anymore. With a bit more fullness in the lower body, Chris would be enough as far as this pose goes. The side chest is a pose that Chris masters very well, and in my opinion this pose needs to change. We need to go back to what it once used to mean, not what it is today, a side most muscular. But aside from that, even if we judge it by today's standard, C-Bum might still win this pose, having the best chest and a very competitive rest of his physique plus the most elegant execution. back double biceps, and yes, Derek's back is the anomaly here because he actually has the best back in the world today and one of the best of all time, so he will easily win this pose against anybody in the world. But looking at Hadi versus Sibam, neither of them is known for having the best back double, and the difference in size is not noticeable here. Now, this is one of the main reasons Hadi actually lost to Samson. He looked too small, especially from the back and from the side, because he's getting dwarfed by this half classic, half open version of Sibam. In my opinion, Hadi takes last place in this pose. If you are enjoying my content, consider subscribing. A big portion of you, around 73%, are not subscribed, and it would mean a lot to me to reach that 30k subs milestone by the end of this year. I appreciate it, guys. Back lat spread, and this is a better pose for the Persian Wolf, closing the gap between him and Derek, whose back lat is not as strong as his back double. In comparison, Chris's back needs more size indeed, but it's not as lacking as you would expect, right? Since Derek and Hadi have some of the two best rear lat spreads in the world, Chris, who's being criticized from the back, doesn't do all that bad but still takes last place here. Again, with a full off-season prepping for Open, he could change that. Hadi and Derek look great in the side triceps, and even though I like Sibam's side tri as well, I think he can do better with the execution. I believe Hadi really mastered the execution of this pose, but of course, this execution suits his physique. Sibam needs to do the same because I believe he can do better than this. The abs and thighs have become a default pose for Hadi because of his unmatched hardness. Sometimes, regardless of criteria, overall flow and all that, some bodybuilders are just undeniable in certain shots, and that's the case with Hadi in the abs and thighs, I believe. Even though Sibam looks like a statue here, especially with his vacuum, I don't think he beats Hadi, but he beats Derek in my opinion. In the most muscular, we could nitpick things, but the main thing is that Chris Bumstead doesn't give up too much size against these seasoned bodybuilders, because we can't forget this is still classic physique Chris, who only didn't deplete himself to make the weight. With added mass, I think he can take on both of these smaller dudes in a pose like the most muscular. As they look here, I don't think Chris can beat these two, but he definitely can beat them if he adds more size. Also, if bodybuilding criteria were to change, he could win here as well. All we need is clear criteria. As far as what we know now, Hadi and Derek are more massive and fuller, so they shouldn't lose to a physique like Chris Bumstead. The thing with Martin Fitzwater is that with his Olympia version, I think he could easily win against Sibam in Prague, but what I saw in the Prague prejudging wasn't off Martin, so he will probably lose. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, like this video for the algorithm, subscribe to help me get to 30k subs. See you in the next video.